Hello, everyone. Welcome to another of our ITSM community webcasts, where today we'll be taking a closer look at CA Service Management's reporting and business analytics. Today, taking us through today's presentation will be Rajeev Kumar, our Director of Product Management for CA Service Management. And again, we'll be taking a look at where we're at today with business reporting, or business analytics and reporting, and also taking a look at what's coming up in the near future. We also have Chenard, our Senior Architect, who will also be taking us through a demo, taking a look at some of the features for our reporting and analytics. One thing to note is we'll also be taking questions. So if you do have any questions for either Amy or Rajeev, please use the Q&A feature. We'll be answering those questions either throughout the presentation as best we can or at the end of the presentation. So with that, I will go ahead and hand things over to Kumar, to Rajeev, I'm sorry.
Thank you, Jim, and welcome everyone to this webcast. In the webcast today, we'll be covering what has changed in CA Service Management reporting. Most of you would already be aware of the change, so we will quickly recap the change. We'll do an overview of CABI 6.x, specifically the 6.2 version that we released in June last year. And we have got a nice demo, a condensed version of a lot of things, Jaspersoft, that Amy is going to do today. And then we'll talk about what's the future of reporting in CA Service Management, what's coming in the 17.0 release in a couple of weeks from now, and then what all are we working on from a reporting perspective in the solution, and then we'll open for Q&A. So most of you would have seen this come out last April 2016, and you know, we announced that effective April 2016, we would remove Boxy or SAP Business Objects from the solution. And we did that. So if you go to our download page today, you wouldn't see Boxy or SAP Business Objects anymore shipped along with the solution. Instead, we have included Jaspersoft, which is typical Jaspersoft technology, in the solution, and we are calling it CA Business Intelligence 6.x or 6.2 to be very specific for that particular version. While we were looking at the end of life for Boxy-based CA Business Intelligence, we, as a team at CA, evaluated a number of business intelligence technologies. And a few things that we were keeping in perspective while we were working on that research was finding a lightweight reporting technology, number of ideas and suggestions that our customers and partners had on the reporting technologies, etc. And we decided in favor of Jaspersoft. So here we are. Now, Boxy will be supported until end of 2018. However, it is about time that you start looking at your reporting implementation and start moving back to the new technology so that you can take full advantage of the feature and function that we have on this new technology. Some of the key things that this technology offers is, of course, TIBCO is known for reporting and integration technologies. They're one of the leaders in that space. It's a very lightweight BI tech stack. You know, you can see that, you can feel that from the download media size itself. It's one small download media, download it, put it on a sandbox, and get started. It's very easy to set up and administer, configure users, roles, permissions, hook it to LDAP, and then get started in the matter of a couple of hours. It offers easy-to-use self-service BI that we'll touch upon in a bit. And it also has very advanced reporting capability for report developers who build interactive pixel-perfect reports. For those type of users, it offers, there is something called Jaspersoft Studio that has all the advanced reporting features in terms of pixel perfectness and interactive reporting. Of course, it has the multi-tenancy architecture. If you have multiple clients that you are supporting, that architecture is very cost-effective from that standpoint, and it offers a nice OLAP cube for self-service or ad hoc reporting, which is powered by in-memory analysis to keep it performant. So, like we said, for BI developers, it offers very flexible advanced technology in terms of iReports or Jaspersoft Studio, which works as an Eclipse plugin. You can set it up on Eclipse and get started. You can write pretty sophisticated SQL queries and design your report layout, the sub-report, the drill-down method, the chart type, all the interaction methods, and so forth using Jaspersoft Studio. On the flip side, it also offers very advanced ad hoc reporting capability. It has a feature called Domain, which offers a data cube, which can be made available to business decision makers or IT decision makers, where they can play around with data pretty much by themselves without any dependence over the report developers. It comes with rich visualization libraries, has high charts, which is customizable, can add your custom CSS, etc. And the interactive element of this is that end users can select their chart type. They can play around with data on the fly without going to the development mode. It offers a number of export formats and can be customized to a greater extent. You can export your reports to CSV, to Excel, PDF, etc. A number of export formats are available that can be used along with the scheduling mechanism for report exports. It also offers very sophisticated embeddable technology. So you can take the reports and dashboards, embed them in an external interface, so it becomes a seamless part of that external interface. It wouldn't look like as if it is coming from a different system or so. So all in all, Jaspersoft offers a very lightweight but advanced embedded self-service BI technology, and that's what we are calling as CA Business Intelligence 6.x. Now, in context of service management, when we made this technology available with the solution, we added a limited set of reports, but these are highly valuable, high priority reports as used by our customers. The couple of business value dashboards which were made available in 14.1, they are included here. All important required SDM reports, they are included, be it on change order side or incident management, request management, etc. On the service catalog side, again, some very tiny list, but these are very important reports on service catalog side as well as asset portfolio management side. These reports are the first cut of content included along with this technology. And we would continue investing not just in content, but enabling the overall technology platform so that you can reap benefits of this powerful BI technology in your environment. So we'll touch upon the future in a bit. Now there are a couple of examples of out-of-the-box content that we wanted to touch upon. And to start with, this is the service demand report or dashboard which came out in 14.1 release of CA Service Management, and it is migrated or converted to the Jaspersoft technology. So it's available as part of out-of-the-box content. And this report provides a number of things in a single view. It provides top 10 categories in terms of count and relative cost and effort. Now, traditionally, most of the reports have been count-based reports, and this dashboard goes a level forward and talks about effort or talks about number of dollars spent on resolving certain types of tickets. It has a drillability, so it starts with top 10, and if we want to view more, we can go to a sub-report using this link and view that information as well. it has trend information for these 3 different metrics as well. So, you know, the monthly or weekly or quarterly trends can be visualized for these 3 metrics, which is count, cost, and effort for ticket resolution as well. Similarly, there are simpler reports, but again, very important, incident by groups, and it can be, out of the box, it's available in chart format. You can switch the view, you can, you know, visualize the same information in different charts. These reports have the input parameters, so you can, you know, filter and constrain the list of records that you want to view through these reports. There are other reports where you do not really have the filters or prompts sort of a thing. You know, these reports are available as you go to the report details. You have the data available, and then in that particular view, you can choose to filter specific records. So these are some of the out-of-the-box content examples that we have included in the first iteration of this technology in CA Service Management. Now we will switch it over to Amy to do a quick demo, and we'll come back to future of business intelligence or reporting technology in service management. So let me switch it to Amy quickly. Amy, over to you.
Thank you, Rajeev. So Jasper Server lets us explore and analyze data through an easy-to-use drag-and-drop web user interface. And I will begin by demonstrating how to create an ad hoc view, which we will then use to create some reports, and finally a dashboard. I'm logged into Jasper Server, and right now you're looking at the landing page. At the top, we have some menu options. On the left are links to educational content and recently viewed items. And on the right are links to common tasks. Let's start by looking at some existing reports that are in the repository. And to do that, we'll click on Library on the menu bar. So here is a pared-down repository page that contains ad hoc views, reports, and dashboards to which the logged-in user has rights. And right now I'm logged in as a super user, so I'm seeing everything. And in this list, we're looking at the out-of-the-box content that is delivered with CABI 6.2. These reports were built using Jasper Studio, which Rajeev had alluded to before, which is the desktop-based report designer used to create highly formatted reports with filter features. It's what the Advanced Report Administrator might use, and we do ship a license for CABI for the Jasper Studio. Now, if we look at a certain report, so for example, active incidents aging, if I right-click on this report, I have some options available to me. I can run it, I can export it, or I can schedule it. So let's take a schedule a report. Create schedule will actually let us set up the schedule. From here, I have the option of setting a recurrence for this, a simple or a calendar-based recurrence. If this report has parameters, maybe a date range or an end of month or an assignment parameter, I would set it at the Parameters tab. On the Output options, I see what kind of output content in the various formats and also locations, such as an FTP server that I can put this report to. And finally, on the Notifications tab, I see various email notification options. And this would include things like, would I like to include the report in an email as an attachment, or do I want the report to be included in the body of the email as HTML? I'm going to hit Cancel and Back to return. And this time, I'll just click on the report, which is the second way to run it. Now these reports, the ones built with Studio, contain various elements such as filter items and interactive charts and tables. This first page has 2 charts on it. If I hover my mouse over the pie pieces, I see data that's relevant to that piece of the pie. You see it changes as I move my mouse around. I can also remove items by clicking on them at the legend at the bottom. and I can add them back by clicking over the grayed area. Additionally, by clicking the gears, I can change the type of chart that is presented to me. Now this will present me with a palette, a chart type palette, and as I click through it, I can see what my chart will look like on the right and how it changes the data. And when I'm done, I just simply close the palette. I can also save this. So if this is the design I'd rather have, I can go ahead and save it. Now, this report has different pages, and I can see that at the top. If I scroll through, the second page will show me an example of a crosstab report with priority across the top and a time range on the left. The third page shows an example of a detailed list, and these are all the incidents that are included in the report. They also have a hyperlink right to the incident in Service Desk Manager. So if I'm viewing this report and I click on that hyperlink, and if I have rights to view that incident, I'll be popped into the incident detail window. So I'll close this. And now I'm going to go back to the home screen. I'll probably receive a message to confirm that any changes I didn't save will be lost. That's fine. So now let's go ahead and actually create our first ad hoc view. To do that, under the ad hoc views, I'll select Create. Now, ad hoc views rely on domains, and we'll have a list of demo domains come up in a second. And these domains are used to access Jaspersoft's metadata layer. Domains can include some or all of the database tables, and they will provide a business view of the data accessed. So in this example, let's grab SDM tickets, and this domain will include incidents, requests, and problems. And then I simply select Choose Data. Now at this level, I select which fields I might use in my reports. So I can select just a couple, or I can select them all. In the interest of time, I'll just select them all. Under the pre-filters, if we only wanted to see active tickets or a certain asset class or assignee, we can add filters at this level. Under display, if I need to rename a field, how it might look, I can do that here. So if I type in, I just change the name here to isActive instead of active flag. And then once I have this set up the way I like, I may want to reuse this again. And I can save it as a topic, so it's a shortcut for next time. Clicking OK at the bottom will now present me with a new ad hoc view window. On the left, I see all the fields and measures that are available per the domain setup that we just created. In the middle is the actual report designer. And in the far right, if I click this expand button, is a place for filters. Now measures, which are down at the bottom here, and you'll see things like resolve to close, target times. They typically contain numeric data that can be aggregated in a crosstab fashion. So for the first demo, what we'll do is create a table. And what I'd like to do is see the time to close in days for all my tickets. So I'll start by selecting table from the drop-down. And then I only need to simply drag and drop data that I see on the left into the right. So for example, assignee, and it auto-populates with, as you see at the top here, we have some sample data. So this will give me the first 15 rows of sample data. And I can move a column over by just clicking on it and dragging. So I can drag it over here, category. I can also double click on a field. So if I want close date, I can double click on it and it'll put it into the columns. Group, open date, priority, I can also rearrange the order by using this top area. So if I drop status up here at the top and ticket number, maybe it was the first field, I can do that, and I can move things around here as well. I have group here. I see application support, and I have some unassigned tickets. If I want to group my data, I can simply drag this field down to groups, and now we'll be looking at the data grouped by whichever that field is, which is group. Now the next thing we can do is add a measure. So I need to get the time to close. So I'm going to scroll down here. I seem to have a frozen screen for a second. Oh. Can you guys still hear me?
Yeah, you're still live.
Yep.
Oh. I just, my server just went down. Lost connection to it. Can you pause this for 1 second for me, Chris?
Yeah, let's see. Hold on.
All right. So we will post the recording of the demo in communities at a later time. So let's look at what are we doing in 17.0 release with reporting. 17.0 release is going to come out. It's going to go GA in a couple of weeks' time. And we are shipping CABI 6.3. Sorry, there seems to be a typo in here. It's CABI 6.3, not 3.0, which will be included with Service Management 17.0. There are a bunch of things that are improved in CABI 6.3. Starts with a GUI installer, a GUI installer with non-English language support, which was not really the case with 6.2, which came out last year. It also has high availability configuration, so customers who have high availability requirements can use 6.3 for a high availability implementation. It has a bunch of performance and security improvements. It improves on a number of securability parameters, like the penetration and cross-site scripting type of things are improved to a significant extent. And the in-memory analysis of data has been improved quite a bit to make report rendering and ad hoc analysis more performant. There are a bunch of enhancements around dashboard capability. You can now export dashboards in PDF. You can export individual dashlets. You can schedule the report or dashboard and store it using secure FTP or STP functionalities. So these are a bunch of enhancements on the capability side. As far as out-of-the-box content is concerned, we are not improving it much. It remains the same as it was in the last release. But as we move beyond 17.0, we are investing significantly in taking this capability to the next level. Historically, the problem with reporting has been that we have provided a capability, we have provided a bunch of out-of-the-box reports. In fact, on Boxy, we had hundreds of out-of-the-box reports across Service Desk, Service Catalog, and IT Asset Manager. However, the challenge was that customers needed some amount of customization while implementing it. So out-of-the-box reports were not used as is, and you needed to add a field or remove a field, or convert a data view to chart type, etc. And that required additional investment on your side, right? Be it a small investment or large investment, but it required additional investment and additional time. And when you needed to change that report, maybe a quarter down the road, you again had to come back and invest in that particular report. Now to solve that problem, instead of focusing on shipping more out-of-the-box reports, we are now focused on shipping out-of-the-box content that would enable ad hoc analysis of data. And that content is going to be focused more on business metrics, things like mean time to resolution, cost per ticket, or first contact resolution type of tickets, and several such out-of-the-box metrics and dimensions on which they can be analyzed. For instance, if I use MTTR and I want to analyze that information for each group or for each analyst, or we want to understand MTTR trend for a particular group on a weekly basis or on a monthly basis, all such types of things would be possible with advanced reporting capability that we are working on. It will support drag and drop based multi-dimensional visualization of data. So I can drag MTTR and I can drag cost and then analyze that information side by side. Now, again, the chart types and all rich visualization aspects of Jaspersoft would anyway be available through the capability. We are also envisioning to integrate this capability in Xflow, which is our new interface in service management solution. The current capability is not tightly integrated with Service Desk Manager. The out-of-the-box reports or custom content that you have built, if you want to use that, you'll need to go to Jaspersoft report repository or Jaspersoft server to view the content or to schedule the content, etc. But with advanced reporting, we are planning to integrate it tightly with Xflow, so users really don't have to hop through multiple interfaces. All the required reports and dashboards would be available right within Xflow interface. At this point in time, we are working on the required content, the domain, the data behind it, and it's going to be much more cleansed, pre-aggregated data in form of a data mart, or we are calling it data surface, which will power the visualization ad hoc reporting capability available through Jaspersoft. So it's going to be very, very performant, easy to use capability. And we would like your help in validating this capability. So if you are interested in the next generation of reporting that we are building, in community, let's collaborate. I will be posting the validation URL so that we can give you a demo of that capability through our validation program and share the capability with you if you would like to try it out locally in your environment. So that's pretty much is the future. We'll see more as we connect through the validation program. Now with that, I'm pretty much done with the presentation part, and we should be good to go ahead and take questions.
So Rajeev, Amy is actually back and can go back into the demo and finish what she started if we want.
Sure, that would be great, yeah.
Yeah, I apologize. I'll finish this demo up and then I'll re-record a smoother version later to post to the community. Okay, so as I was showing, I created my fields, and there was one more, resolve to close, which I wanted to add. So I was about to drag this over here, and now I have all the fields that I want on my report. What I'll do now is sort this field so that I have the longest days at the top. And to do that, I just right-click on a column, and I can select Use for Sorting. Now, if I click this little arrow, I can go from ascending to descending. And by clicking OK, I'll see that I have a new sort order here. I can also add filters. Right now, I have a list of tickets, and I can see the status here. But because this report is based on time to close, I would like to only include tickets that are actually in an inactive status. So to do that, I have an is active field, the one that we renamed. It was originally called active flag. And I can right-click on it and create a filter. I can also do the same for group. Because I'm grouping this by group, I will just include tickets that have a group and an assignee on them. So I can right-click on something and create filter, or I can do it from many levels. I can also drag and drop the field from here over to the filter area. Now with is active, I have some options. Oops, I just deleted it. I have some options for my filter. I can select is none of, is equal. So what I want is equals, and I want it to be, equals here. I want it to be equal 0. And for my assignee, I want them to not equal null. So is not equal to is what I'll select in the drop-down. And then to apply it, I simply hit apply. And then what I'll do is click here on this little link to add a title. I can also do things, if I right-click here, I can add a summary. And this summary will give me the count, which is 15. If I do the same on resolve to close, if I add a summary here, it will not give me a count, it will actually give me a sum. So it's basing the summary based on the type of data that I have here. And I could do it across my report as well. By clicking on the gears, I can do details and totals, and it'll give me a total for the bottom. If I would like to condense this and just see the totals, now I'm looking at just the groups on the left here with the totals for what's in that, the broken down report. So detailed data versus grouping it together. So now let's go ahead and save this. If I hover over the save icon, I can save this ad hoc view and create a report. Now, Jaspersoft has a folder structure so that it's easier to organize content and also add security. With Boxy, we have a default service management folder structure in place. And I'm going to actually save this under users, and I'm going to put this as my first report. And save that. So now I actually have an ad hoc view and a report. And to take a look at that, I'll click back on the home link. And under reports, I can view the list. By selecting today, I have some filter options here. I can see what I've created today, and that'll make it a little easier. And this is the one we saved at the beginning of the demo. So if I open this up by clicking it and running it, I see the report. But what would be really cool is if we added some formatting to it to make it stand out. So maybe anything with priority critical, let's highlight that. So that's fairly easy to do. We just right-click, just click on the column and the formatting option here. Now we can add formatting to different levels of this report. This is a column-by-column thing, so you'll see that we have previous column, next column, and we're talking specifically about priority column. The heading, so this is a priority heading, but we're talking about the priority column right here, format column. So I can change the heading. I can, add something here. I can underline it, make the font a little bigger. I can also edit the group. So what we're looking at is application support. I can maybe bring this line out a little bit more so that I can see the difference between my group data. And for the priority, instead of actually modifying the detail rows, what I'll do is I'll select conditional formatting, and I'll add a rule that says when my condition equals critical, 1-critical, I would like the background to be highlighted. And when I click OK, we'll see the formatting go into place. So I've renamed my header, I've updated the color of this grouped row, and we've added conditional formatting to the priority. Now let's go ahead and save this. And when we created this, we actually added 3 filters. This little button here will pop those input controls out so I can change the filters. Right now it's assignee not null, but I could, change it if it made sense. And one neat thing I want to show is if I go back to the list and I right-click and edit this report, under Controls and Resources, we have the ability to change how that filter is set. So if I want it to be inside the page, I just do Display Mode in Page, submit this, and then the next time I run that report, I have my filter options inside the report itself instead of having to pop them out. So now that we have our report, I'm going to go back and we're going to create a real quick and simple crosstab report. To do that, we of course need to start with our ad hoc view. And here I can go through the same steps I did before by selecting the SDM tickets. Or I can grab the domain I created. Now when I use the domain, it's a little quicker because I don't have those windows to go through. So now I just need a few fields to create a crosstab. So I'll grab priority, because this will be one based on ticket type and priority. So priority, I will bring up to a column, and you'll see the report starting to build itself. And then ticket type, I'll add as a row. And then I need something else, so I'll grab ticket count. So now we have a simple crosstab report. And I will go ahead and save this one, just like we did before. And I'll put that right back under the same folder structure, under Service Management Users, and save that. One other thing we can do, which might make sense, is to add a filter on this data. So I want to show that real quick. So if I add open date here, because I can actually drag it over to filters, and I say is on or after, I have a date helper, and I can add 2 different types of dates. I can use the fixed timestamp or a relative timestamp. So if I want to go back, say, 2 years, I just hit my adjustment to minus my years to 2, and the time period would be years. And if I apply it, you'll see my data change. So that is, save my view, adding a filter to the data. Now, to make this into a chart, we simply hit the drop-down and select Chart. Now, the chart is giving us a visualizer that lets us zoom through various levels of data. So you'll see I have a column of priority here, and on the far right I have columns with a data level. If I move this over to the right, if I click down here, my report is just got broken out by priority. So you'll see we have a legend down at the bottom, priority none is orange, and I can also break out the rows because I have a row of ticket type here. I've now got incidents, so I have an I, a P, and an R. And I can also add formatting. So not only can I change the type of report like we've seen, I can add some formatting to my report. The first thing we can do is now we have ticket count is sort of at an angle. That's an easy thing to fix. We can fix that here. So if I hit apply, now my x-axis is straight. Under labels, I can move the position of my legend. Right now it's at the bottom, but I could move it over to the right, and it may make sense to do that if this has got a lot of data in it, long group names or something. And under advanced, we can add properties to make the background of this chart change. So if you click more information, this will pop us into the Jaspersoft community page. And this is where they are documenting a whole bunch of different properties you can use, what they do, and how to use it. So this one here, chart background color, for example, they're showing it in a gray background. If we go back to our report, and maybe I want to match what my company's theme is, I select Add New Property. I can paste in what I just copied, and I can use the hex code, or if I know, or I can just do the color if I know it. And apply that. And I can do another one, which I think looks nice. We can do an alternating color grid as well. So if we add white and apply that, now we've got a chart with some characteristics in it. I'm going to go ahead and save that and create a report. This is our third. So now that we have a bunch of reports, we can actually build a dashboard for these. And we do that by going back to the home page, the landing page. And under dashboards, there's a link for create. Now this is a drag and drop environment as well, used to create our dashlets. And under existing content, we see the reports here. We can also do a folder view. When I grab the first report, now this is the first one we did, it will automatically use all the space available, and you can see my screen is turned yellow. And then that report will load. When I grab the second report, or ad hoc view, it'll give me a visual as to where it wants to drop it. So it's got some intelligence here to help me figure out where I want this report to go. And then I'll grab my third one. And it doesn't matter if it's a report or a view. We also have the option of manually moving items around, so I can move this down a bit. And I can add some text, so there's some external content. I can create a chart on the fly here. I'm going to grab the text one so I can add a header. And I may need to give this a little bit more room. And I have some formatting options here. I can bold it, give it a pretty color. Maybe I want to center it. And I can also add external web pages. So if I need access to a certain web page that maybe has some information on it that I'm constantly looking at, I can go ahead and add that here as well. Now, it may look kind of squished here, but if I go to the visual, if I toggle between the design and display mode, there's a little expand button here, so I can maximize into the web page, click around, get what I need, and then go back. And same thing with these reports. So it may look hard to read when they're minimized, but I have access to them by clicking the maximize button. And then if I go back, I'm on the design page. One other thing we can do, if you right-click on these little dashlets and hit properties, there's an auto refresh. So you can auto refresh in minutes or seconds for a certain dashlet. And then if we save this, we can pull it up in a second window if we need to. And then here we go. So we're viewing our dashboard here, and I can run this in a new tab and move this over onto my my side area if I need to. And that is the end of the demo. I apologize for the earlier technical issues. But I made it through.
Hey, Amy. We've got quite a few Q&A questions, but there is one that, as long as you're in the demo, was just asked. Is it possible to demonstrate sorting a column headers for report viewers? Sorting on column headers for report viewers.
Okay, let me see if I understand what that is. So if I pull up, let me just pull up one of my ad hoc views. So sorting is done column by column, and I can do it, if I right-clicking on the column, I can use it like sorting. Is that what we're talking about?
Not really sure, Bian. The whole question is it possible to demonstrate sorting on column headers for report viewers?
The sorting on column headers, I'm not really sure what that means unless we're talking about putting these in a certain order. These are column headers. That is closed, open.
He's clarifying, it's Joel. He says, so a report viewer looks at the report, not in design mode, but they are limited.
Oh, okay, I see. So let's go back to report, which is what somebody looking at something would see. They would actually be looking at a report.
He says based on security access.
Okay, so there is sorting here. If I right-click on a column, now I'm just viewing this report. I can set ascending or descending. Now, what I did in the view before was I set this column manually to always set on ascending or descending, right? So I did descending. And I can change that manually if I'm looking at the report. Now, if you want to limit sorting by security, you'd have to, as far as I know, create a different report and save it to, like you'd have to actually save it to a different folder. So maybe Elle Klein sees this one and she doesn't have sorting, but I actually don't know how to remove these. I don't know if we can remove this from the web interface. I'd have to actually look into that unless Rajeev knows. The other thing is that Jaspersoft community is open to everyone. You just have to register with a name, and then people will post or respond to questions that have to do specifically with Jaspersoft, and they would answer into the community. And it has a lot of activity up there. So that might be, but I don't know how to remove these options if that was the question.
I think you have.
You hit on it.
Yes, I think you have covered it, Amy. The question was how to perform sorting, and that you have covered. All right.
Okay.
So maybe we can take some questions live. I've posted responses for a couple of them. One question which came from a couple of people was, will there be a demo for Jaspersoft Studio capability? For today, we had planned a demo only on domain and how to build ad hoc views and dashboards. If community members feel that we should do a demo for Jaspersoft Studio as well, we can figure something out. We can either do a live demo or we can post a recording in the communities. Question from Andrea is, to display Jaspersoft reports in Service Desk Manager, do we still have to go through CABI? So, Andrea, if you meant the new CABI, which is, again, Jaspersoft, this is loosely coupled with Service Desk Manager in the current release. You can install CA Business Intelligence, you can hook it to Service Desk Manager, and you can view reports, and you can pull data from MDB, etc. But you cannot really integrate and view this in SDM at this point in time. We don't have that out-of-the-box integration in Service Desk Manager interface at this time. In future, we are planning to integrate Jaspersoft more tightly with Service Management interface, and more specifically the Xflow interface. There's a question from Clinton. I noticed that you had to log into CA Service Desk Manager. Will there be the ability for pass-through authentication to automatically log you in? So that was required to honor the security constraints defined in SDM. You may have data partition, functional access types of things. So once that step is performed, the integration between Jaspersoft and SDM, that integration piece understands who the user is, and then SDM accordingly serves the data. So that's required in this version of what we are showing. In future, as we talk about the data surface or data mart, we are looking at flattening that to a greater extent so that this login would not be required, but that's future. There is a question on Service Catalog. How flexible is the reporting on form fields with Service Catalog? How easy it is to use? You can pretty much, if you understand what fields do you need, you can create either a domain out of it, or you can create a studio report leveraging the form fields, because form fields are anyway stored in MDB. So you can build a domain, you can write an SQL query to pull that data out. Out-of-the-box content in the current release does not include form fields. In future, though, we can plan on including form fields as well, but we'll need to work closely with you as what specific metrics are you looking for. Question from Vishnu. CA recommended Jaspersoft Studio for reports development, rather Jasper Report Server, where I don't see any out-of-the-box formula as it existed in previous CABI Voxy tool for ready use. So what is CA's plan ahead to bring in those formula into Jaspersoft Studio? So Vishnu, this question has been answered indirectly. We would not probably be using the Studio technology to provide out-of-the-box ad hoc reporting content. It will be available through the domain capability of Jaspersoft, but net-net, the capability for end users to create reports or dashboard in a self-service manner is on our roadmap. We are working on it, and if you are interested, we would like to include you in the validation program. That pretty much there are quite a few questions. I'm not sure, Chris, if we'll be able to cover all of them. So should we post the responses offline when we will post the recording in communities?
Yeah, we can go ahead and respond to the questions in the Q&A and post those up to the site when we post the recording.
Okay.
So with that, Jim, do you have any last words for everyone before we sign off here?
No, I'd just like to say thanks, Ambrish, and I'm sorry to Rajeev and Amy taking us through the presentation. And this is just one in a series. We're going to continue these, so please be looking forward to our next session. Hopefully we'll get another one posted, or several more posted to the community. So thanks again, everyone, and have a great rest of your day.
Thank you, everybody.